So before I start this video, I just want you guys to know that it is 6:09 in the morning and I have not slept, and it's the same day as the WWE video once again. I don't know what's wrong with me, but today we're telling more stories because I had a lot of fun making it. You guys have yet to even see the first story, so you got that going for you. But welcome to this one. This one is about drugs once again. But I was thinking about which story I should tell you guys, and I told this story to this person I was talking to last night. So welcome to Acid and Rollers, which is basically Molly and acid. You'll see a recurring acid theme through my videos because I used to be an acid head. So this story starts off kind of in a weird spot. Let's start it like this. So I was chilling at the crib one day and I was druggy, so I wanted some drugs. So I bought myself some Molly, right? And I started doing the Molly. And my friend, well, I don't even know if I could, yeah, we're just gonna call him that. My friend calls me and he goes, "Do you want to go to this kid's house and do dabs and weed and smoke a lot of weed?" And I was like, why wouldn't I? That's exactly what I do. So let me explain a little bit of background. So during this time, I didn't even have a phone. Well, I did. That's how he called me. I had a phone, but you had to be connected to Wi-Fi in order to use it. You probably have been in that situation before if you're anything like me. But it was a iPhone SE, maybe even 4. I don't know. It was bad. But this phone was the one that got me through the whole day. So it all starts off, right? I'm chilling. I'm minding my business. He calls and he's like, "You want to come down and chill?" And I was like, "Yeah." So the way I had to do it was I had to put the address in my phone while connected to Wi-Fi at my house, and then go, and it wouldn't disconnect because it pathed it out already for some reason. I don't know, man. My other friend taught me that from the previous story. The one, okay? But basically, right? I put the address in and I start going. I get on the bus because it's just one bus ride. You don't gotta get on any other buses. And I also didn't have any money because I just spent it on the Molly I had. I think I don't necessarily remember. This was a solid 3 years ago. Yeah, we're telling some old stories. I was 15. I was literally a 15-year-old kid just chilling. But I I go down to the place. It's by this, like, we have a fair every year in the summer for where I live, and he lives right by the fair. So that's what I do, right? My friend was like, just meet me there and we'll go from there. And that's exactly what happened. So I go down, take the bus, I go down to the fair. I'm at the fair now. And mind you, this phone has to be connected to Wi-Fi for me to use it. So guess what I'm doing? I'm over here looking for Wi-Fi networks that I don't think I'll find because I'm in the middle of nowhere. Basically, it's a fair. I'm by people's houses, but there's no like free Wi-Fi networks, you would think, because I'm in the middle of a fair. The fair doesn't start for another bunch of months because it's winter during this. Like, there's snow on the ground. It's a lot going on. I get there and oh, I forgot to tell you guys a big important thing about this phone. This phone would die on 100% in 5 minutes. It was not a good phone at all in any way. I just had it because my mom took my other phone and I couldn't have a phone. But she was like, "Since you got your hands on this phone, I guess you can have a phone." So that's what that phone was. And that's why I wasn't paid for it. That's why I was just kind of having a phone. But yeah, so in order to keep it plugged in, I didn't have a battery pack. I brought my whole laptop with me and put that in my bag and plugged my phone into the laptop. And when I got to the fair, it died. Basically, I got to the fair and my phone, it died. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna figure this out. So I plug my laptop into a wall and then plugged my phone up from the laptop because I didn't have a wall piece, because this was how I charged my phone. Even at home, I would use my laptop. But now we're here and I find a Wi-Fi signal using this phone at the fairgrounds, and it was perfect because it was a strong Wi-Fi signal. 16% battery on this phone that dies in 5 minutes on 100%. It's plugged in, so hopefully it doesn't die, right? So that's exactly what I does. I call my friend and it doesn't die during the whole conversation because the whole conversation was so laggy that we ended up just texting. And he tells me he's on his way, he's close, right? And I start losing hope because a solid 15 minutes go by after he says that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna just walk to the kid's house that we're supposed to be going to, because if I can't, if I like, I don't have a way home. I have no money. The buses. That was the last bus for the night, and now we're just out here at the fairgrounds. So I start walking towards where the guy's house is, and then I like literally lose hope for that too, because I don't know where his house is, because I have to rely on the other guy. So I go, okay, I'm just go back and wait. And mind you, it was cold. That's why I really wanted to move, because it was freezing. I didn't really want to be out there for too much longer. But walking back towards the fairgrounds, I see my friend, and I was like, oh my god, yes, it's happy times now. It's happy times now. We're about to go do things. So that's exactly what happens. We start walking and talking about what's gonna happen, and he was telling me about his life and shit. Because I said my friend. I don't consider this guy my friend. I just knew a lot about him. He was a very known character in my hometown for no reason at all. But we're here now, and we start walking, and we literally walk past the kid's house, and he was sitting outside, and that's how he noticed. I don't know why he was sitting outside in the winter, but he was sitting outside, and he was like, hey, you guys, and we were like, oh shit, we passed your house, we didn't mean to. So we go in his house, and mind you, this was probably the druggiest person I've ever been around. He had a crack den of a house. Like, there was garbage everywhere, there was cardboard boxes everywhere. His room was full of just boxes, and his excuse was, we just moved in. And I'm sitting here like, listen, bro, I could just move into a house, and I promise you fucking candy wrappers wouldn't be everywhere, and fucking cups. But anyways, we go into his room and immediately bust out our mollies and drugs and other stuffs. And this story gets a lot crazier, because I started off with, let's do dabs, and that's what my friend wanted to do. He wanted to do dabs and smoke weed with this guy. That's what we started doing at first. We started doing molly too, rollers, whatever you want to call them. We were doing both. We were doing all of the above. And in his room, we were talking, and then eventually he's like, okay, I'm gonna go do this dab with my mom. Do you want to come join? And when I heard that sentence out of his mouth, I was like, I am in the deepest end of the drug users right now. This is not good. But I agreed, because I wanted to do the dab, because I like dabs. Dabs are fun. And we did the dabs. And then the kid who invited me, this is the funniest part of the story, he was doing the dabs too. He was also doing the rollers. He was doing exactly what we were doing. He greens out and goes to the bathroom and vomits. It was hilarious. He vomits his whole guts out. Not my friend, the guy whose house we're at goes in and checks on him. I was literally alone now to think about it. I didn't really know either of these people. But anyways, he goes to checks on him. Like, I knew them from school, but I didn't know them really at all. But anyways, he goes to checks on him, make sure he's okay, and then he comes out and he's like, I just want to go to bed. That's exactly what he does. He goes to bed for the night, and me and the other guy just sit there doing dabs all night, right? That's night 1. And day 2 starts. He wakes up. He's so out of it now. He's like, I'm just gonna walk home, you guys. I'll be all right. I'll see you later. And that's exactly, he said it like stuttery, just like that. And we were like, all right, cool. We'll talk to you later. He leaves, right? And now it's just me and the crackhead. And I was like in a druggy state back then, so I wasn't really seeing what I see it as now. Like, to me, all that stuff wasn't cool. It was just a vibe, I guess you could say. Like, I just enjoyed being around people who weren't okay, basically, right? Now let's get to the main part of the story. We're in his house. We're chilling. We're bored. We're doing drugs still, but we're bored. We're still literally popping rollers as we go through the day. We didn't sleep that night because we were popping rollers all night. And he goes, do you want to do acid tonight? And I was like, bruh, yes. And he was like, okay, my friend's coming over. He has a whole sheet. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be a night. So a couple hours, if not minutes later, he walks in, and he's like, you guys want a candy flip tonight? And I was like, oh my, yes. Cause this was before I did anything crazy in my druggy times, right? And candy flipping was on my radar right after the previous story I just told. Candy flipping was what we did, or what my next goal was. So yeah, we start he busts out these tabs, and they are like the prettiest. Like, they have designs on them. They're brightly colored. They're beautiful, and they look like they have a lot of LSD on them. And he was like, do you want to do it now, or you want to do it later? I was like, I want to do it now. And everybody was like, well, we're gonna do it later, until when it gets nighttime. So we waited a good like 5 hours until the sun went down. Then we took the acid first, because this is how you're supposed to do it, I guess. I don't know too much about drugs. I was just getting high. But we took the acid first, and then like 30 minutes later, we took the more rollers and more molly. It was the whole 9 yards. Then, because this guy, remember, he's a crackhead, and his whole, like, he doesn't, like, okay, when I say he's a crackhead, he don't look like one. Imagine like a well put together person. He just does a lot of drugs. Well, imagine him looking like a well put together person that just does a lot of drugs. He wasn't, but he just looked like it. Like, his clothing choice wasn't the worst. He took care of his hair, his so well, I could see his body. I don't know too much, man. I was just doing drugs. But we start walking to the store because he's a crackhead and he just moved in supposedly. And for some reason, because he just moved in, all his water has metal in it. And in order to stay alive during this drug adventure, you have to drink a lot of water. So that's what we did. We went to go get water, soda, and chips because we were also hungry before we weren't going to be hungry anymore because of all the drugs we just took and ingested. And we didn't eat the day before because we took a bunch of drugs. And now we're here at the store, and this is when it starts to kick in for me. I start to see like the marble floor literally turn into water. It was beautiful. And he was like, "You good?" I was like, "Yes, I'm feeling it. Do you feel it?" He was like, "Nah, not really yet." And we start walking back after we buy these chips and stuff. We see police, and he was like, "Oh, I'm a runaway kid. They might arrest me." And they didn't. They just looked at us really weird. They gave us really weird looks, and I was tripping, so I couldn't even really comprehend it. I was like, if they arrest us, that's gonna be annoying. It's not after curfew yet. It's 9:39. But anyways, right? We get back into the house, and I don't even eat the chips or anything. Like I'm now completely out of it. Like I'm so high. Everything's moving. Everything's beautiful. I'm having a great time. And I lay down on the floor on this pillow, on like this couch pillow he has, and I look at the wall. I shit you not, it like turns into the literal ocean, splashes around for a little bit, and I just black out. Like I don't know what happened in the time frame from there to when I wake up in this chair, that like the chair that he was just sitting in. It's like not even a comfortable chair, so I don't know how I fell asleep in it. I don't even think I was asleep, because the way I come to is I black out on the floor and wake back up, and I'm in the chair now, and dog is coming up to me. The crackhead, he's coming up to me. The acid guy, I don't know where he went. I don't remember. He was there when I woke up though, like for the next day. But he wakes me up out of the chair, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm just tripping. What are you doing?" He was like, "You have a really nice acid smile. You were in a deep state of hypnosis." I was like, "How do you know that?" He was like, "Cause I'm a high drug fiend," some shit like that. Long story short, and he was like, I don't really remember this part, but it stuck with me because we were just laughing and talking now because we're high and everything's funny, and I'm vibing with this guy because I knew him and I knew he had a troubled past, and seeing his mom proved it. So I'm sitting here talking to him. We're literally doing dabs and talking, and out of nowhere we say something so funny. This man starts to hit himself in the face, like not even not even softly, like he was just dogging himself. I'm like, "Dog." I didn't say anything, actually. I just looked at him, and he realized what he was doing, and he goes, "I'm sorry." And I was like, "Don't be, man. But what time is it?" And it was like 5 in the morning. Mind you, we've been up for 2 days straight, because the night before we didn't sleep when the other guy threw up, and this night we didn't sleep because drugs are still in our body. We were popping rollers all throughout the day. It was probably the worst I've ever treated my body in my life. But now after he's done hitting himself, he was like, "I think we should go to bed, man." I was like, "Yeah, we probably should, bro. I'm tired as fuck." So that's exactly what we do, man. I go in. He gives me his room for some reason. He gives me his room, and he sleeps out on the in the living room with his mom. And I wake up the next day, and I'm like, "How the fuck am I alive after all that drug use?" I didn't think my body would be able to survive it. Like I in these days, I was a little bit on the edgy side, so I wasn't really trying to live. But here we are, telling the story to a YouTube account that gets like 1 view a video. But yeah, I don't know. That was just a fun little thing. I mean, after I woke up, we talked for a little bit longer. There was no more drug intake, and we just kind of went home. Well, I mean, I just kind of went home. I don't remember actually where the acid guy was. I don't even remember him being there when I woke up. Maybe he was. I don't know anymore. This was 3 years ago. But all I remember is that like that blacking out part. I blacked out 3 times in that time. Like I blacked out falling, like getting there, and then waking up in that chair, and I black out because I don't really remember what was going on, like during sitting in the chair, and I black out again right before I went to bed. And yeah, that was it. That was really it. But this story is crazy to me because the amount of drugs I took and what drugs I took. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this shit. It wasn't really that crazy, neither is, I mean, honestly, none of my drug stories are that crazy. It's just the drugs that I decided to take at the time I took. See, I didn't really do too much crazy shit on my drugs. I just did the crazy drugs. Like I would mix them, and that's why my stories are so cool to me. Not even cool. That's why my stories are so interesting to me. These aren't cool stories. Don't go do what I do. If you do what I do, I swear I'm not taking. That's not my fault. You're dumb. You're stupid. You're just as dumb as my 15-year-old self was. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, all that nonsense and bullshit. Turn your post notifications on. Share with your friends. You might as well. I mean, if you like it, why wouldn't you do that? Anyways, yeah, peace. Can
trip, yeah. I say trip, yeah.